Welcome to Rich Conversations. It's so good to have you here. I appreciate you. This is another one of our Rich Reflections, where we're going to take about 30 to 50 minutes out of our day to simply just think more intentionally about our own lives. Very simple, right? I'll pose some questions and either think or write or type, whatever you want to do. But by taking these small steps and just it's like a raindrop filling up a pail, right? And during this session, we're going to just add some raindrops to our pail. But through the accumulation, we fill up the bucket. And we'll start this session how we do every session, and that is 5 minutes of breathing. So to make sure we're kind of recentered, focused, clear, we're going to do 5 minutes of breathing first. And there's no tricks involved. I'm setting a timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to sit here and breathe. And I invite you to do the same. We're just breathing in and out. If it helps, count, 1 in, 1 out. And if thoughts come to mind, just simply let them pass. They're not a big deal right now. We're just focusing simply on the breath. All right, so we're back. Now, bring out a notebook or, computer, or just be, thinking. Just think for this duration. Hopefully the breathing went well. Hopefully you're still breathing. And we're going to get down to it. Our first question, as always, is what are we grateful for? Always a fantastic place to start. Gratitude. Gratitude and patience. Cheers. The ingredients for a prosperous journey of fulfillment. And gratitude helps us get out of our head, get out of our own world and partake in the world and be more aware and notice all the other components, not all, but like other components of the world rather than just ourselves. So, what are we grateful for? So many things to be grateful for. I'm looking at the sunset right now, and there's these clouds that look like smoke, but they're clouds and not smoke. Been noticing power lines lately. A lot of big power lines. On the farm, when we're in the fields, I gotta maneuver around them, and they're fairly frequent. I don't even want to know what would happen if I hit one. That would not be a good thing. Let's think about how we wake up in the morning. Like, what's our process initially? I was having a conversation with a very close friend this morning, and something we talked about right away. I've been setting alarms for 5:45 a.m. recently. And this is the first time I've been setting alarms since COVID. And I can tell a difference in the quality of sleep from just like waking up naturally versus an alarm clock. And sometimes when I wake up naturally, it'll be before the alarm clock, and I'll just stay awake. And even though I got less hours of sleep, my body feels better. So I think there's a correlation. There's something going on there. Alarm clocks are so disturbing. So that's an interesting note. And he has a new baby under a year old, and he's been staying at home and hasn't had alarm clocks. But soon he'll be in a position where he needs to do alarm clocks again, or he's gonna figure it out. We talked about it for a little bit. So how do you wake up in the morning? That's such I imagine, new concept in the human story, alarm clocks. Definitely more of like an industrialized thing in time. Before, it was just like the sun and the moon. Sunrise, sunset, mid-noon. When the sun is like right above us, that's when we'll meet at that location. High noon. And now, yeah. No, it's different. Yeah. Also, before I even heard his voice on the phone, I heard birds chirping. He was on a walk. He lives in Brooklyn and the Fort Greene area. So when we are on calls, which I would say is certainly once a month, maybe 3 weeks, he'll usually be on a walk. And I'm at my desk, looking out the window, looking at sunrises. Birds were chirping around him, and a siren, a fire truck was passing. And I haven't heard a siren in quite a while. And it was really loud. It was really loud. We had to pause the conversation. Now living out in rural America, it's just like sirens. What? Oh, it's so loud. No, I've heard something. There are more police cars, not fire trucks. Especially in the middle of the country. I have heard a siren recently, but it's like a sheriff car. And it's just like, what are you doing? This is the country. Get out of here. It's so bizarre to see cop cars in the country. It's like who's been a narc, you know? Anyway, so what's a sound that you haven't heard recently, or you heard recently, but you haven't heard it in a while, and it just kind of made you think about life and different experiences? Okay, this next question, how do you go about organizing your logistics of a day or like what's coming up? How do you go about that? And how you currently go about it, is it effective? You know, like today, I was I have an organized kind of system for main things, but then all these kind of little tinkering stuff came up. And I found it just so bothersome. Responding to a message on social media, that's important. Responding to certain emails. Figuring out, like, I'll be in Chicago tomorrow. And it's figuring out the morning and getting to the train and then meeting up with a friend later. It's like all these like little small things that are not big or not like imperative to the mission going forward. So what do you do? Do you set aside a time and just knock out all these small tasks and little things? That would probably be the most effective. Like, set a timer for 30 minutes and then just do it all. I don't get trapped in the email thing. But the emails that I do get are like people working with me on projects, like my projects. So like the sooner I respond, the sooner they'll be able to advance the project we're working on, which are books, publishing books. So I feel actually really gratified when I respond to those emails. But yeah, not so much those things, but like other things, just like ticky-tacky stuff, Yeah, you do all these small things, and then you're like, oh, wow, I did so much today. And you look back, and you're like, but there's nothing big that we advanced. Sometimes. Very rarely. I don't know. Let's think about criticism. And constructive feedback. When was a recent moment where you were open to criticism and feedback from another person, and how did that go? How did you receive it? I met with my editors for my novel last week and the beginning of this week, and I got raked over the coals. I got absolutely torched. It was one of the most humbling experiences I've had in the last 6 months or so, maybe. I was just like stunned for a few days. And it was all fair. It was all fair feedback. And the purpose of that is to make things better, right? If you want to improve, you have to be open to other perspectives and ideas and more objective and subjective perspectives on yourself or your actions, behaviors, or work. Just breathe and just think through it, process it, and And then just like work at it moving forward, like take actions. Now for me, I'm going to let this breathe a little bit on this novel. But it's interesting how like, it's interesting how the mind, it kind of fills the vacuum, right? So with this novel, I'm informed how some things don't work, how the main character is this or that, or lacks that. And it's like, okay, I'm just gonna step away. I'm gonna play some basketball, go for a walk in the woods, cry. No, I didn't cry. I didn't cry at all. It was more like deflating because my timeline likely won't be met. Because I had an aggressive timeline to get the novel out, and a lot of work will have to be done rather than like minimal work. So that's what it is. And what was I going to say? Well, we can't grow if we don't experience some resistance or some kind of obstacle for us to get better. Which is ironic because that's what they said about one of my characters. There's no growth. But now, okay, what I was going to say is that it's interesting how the mind like fills the vacuum, right? Like, so after this, I stepped away, but it was still on my mind. And without trying, my mind like sort of figured it out like a puzzle. And it reminded me of, I've been watching Mad Men. I watched Mad Men season 1. I borrow the DVDs from the library because I don't stream anything anymore because I don't have Wi-Fi in the farmhouse. And there's this really great line. Actually, I have it. I wrote it down. By wrote, I mean typed in my notes on my iPhone. Want another drink? I don't think so. Then you're not a writer. That's one thing I wrote down. You're good with words, man. Well put. No, it's when God closes a door, he opens a dress. Okay, sorry. Think about it deeply. This is Don Draper. So we were talking about, say you have an idea or a project, or in this case, a novel, and the edits and the criticism or feedback. Think about it deeply, then forget about it. An idea will jump up in your face and it will come from nowhere. Beware the nonconformist. So that's kind of what happened. I didn't necessarily forget about it, but I didn't stress about it. You want something like that, you want the answers right away. So what's something where we took a step back and in the long term we benefited from it? We had to take a step back. We wanted something. We wanted the answer so bad. We wanted it immediately. But we let it breathe. We gave it some space, and from that, in the long run, it all worked out. What's something like that for you? Yeah, and I think this idea is better. It's more compelling and it's more relevant than what I had written before. So now I just kind of organize the thought a little bit. But there's a decent amount of substance in the overall story. I have to tweak some things, but I'll have to be creative with it. The topic now will be technology in society. And the character it explores the idea of like 10 years or so ago, there's so much optimism around technology and its possibilities, and we were kind of at the forefront of smartphones and like payment transactions through these different technologies, and it enabled this world that hadn't existed before. And it was like start companies, new ideas, innovation, and it was so shiny, it was so new, people were all about it, and technology advanced and we became jaded from that initial thing, and we took the technology itself for granted, but also the technology infiltrated our lives without us really being conscious of how we wanted to let it into our life. And it's like forced on us, not through some entity, but just through like a sheer overwhelming of technology in all capacities and facilities. So we're at the other end of that. But what happens is this character sold his company, and then the company or the CEO, whoever bought it, used it differently than how he intended, and then used it for this like negative aspect of society in a way, like collecting people's data and finding faster ways to put advertising in front of people's faces and more direct and more like more almsgiving to this religion of consumerism. That's America's religion. It's Easter season right now. It's Lent. But people to feel good don't go to church. To feel good, people buy things. That's what it is now. We love buying things. And technology makes it easier and more intentional and more... anyways. So that's part of the thing. The new direction of the novel. Before, it was very spiritual driven. And it was kind of like autobiography of a yogi based on him as a character. And like Jesus and myself. Jesus apparently doesn't make a good character. Because he just like does the right things and not flawed. Here's a question. Where are we at spiritually? Take a moment. Think about it. Where are we at spiritually? Do we feel connected to a deeper purpose? Do we feel compelled to take inspired action in the world and participate in something bigger? Like, where are we at? And there's no right or wrong answer, or even if not spiritual. But it is something to think about and give effort and time towards. It's really important to just ask yourself questions in this regard. Because then you're thinking more about mission and purpose, and our time is very short on Earth. So what are we here to do? Why are we here? Think about it. At least do that. At least put some thought into it. You know what I mean? Don't just ignore it. I got an elephant over here in the room. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to, you can't not see it, Who's a friend of ours whose work we appreciate, respect, and get emotion from? So who's a friend we appreciate? Let's go with art. Like, we appreciate their art and their craft because we know what they put into it. We know the emotions that have gone into it. And we then feel something from it. I've had a few friends put stuff out lately. Neil Francis, Sammy Sharif, and the band that I've been recording with as Oak. I'm so proud. That's the question. Like, what's a situation where we're proud of friends putting out work? And especially Sammy. Sammy and I are quite close, and I felt compelled to release work on the same day he released work. So I released 2 books yesterday, Miami Magic and Milwaukee Sensibility, on the same day that he dropped his album. I'm going to release 2 books. And it will always be a special day that way. I haven't celebrated the publication of these books. They should get here. I ordered copies. They should get here the day after tomorrow. I think that's when I'll do it. As Oak has a live performance, so I'm going to record that. And my intention is to bring the books there. I get them in time and then bring them there. I'm very curious about Milwaukee Sensibility and promote it. I haven't promoted anything. Like, marketing is the aspect that I need to improve. If I'm being, taking in criticism. I just release stuff. I create stuff and just release it, I gotta get better in that regard. But yeah, friends. Celebrate our friends. Celebrate life. Celebrate. Yeah, just really outstanding. Just really in the groove. Like, Neil's album is so fresh. It feels very fresh. More fresher. It's better than his previous albums, in my opinion. His second studio album, I didn't care for as much. And the first one was just like classic, It's the debut one. But this one, Return to Zero with Neil, just really fantastic. It's got a groove to it. It feels fresh. And Sammy's House of Bliss is his 3rd studio album. And this is actually Neil's 3rd studio album. Sammy released previous music with a band called Bone Lane. But this House of Bliss one, it's so Sammy. It's so raw. It's so just like cutting your teeth. It's got edge to it. It's beautiful. It's so deep and poetic. It just really I don't know, just like fast pace. It's his 3rd album in 12 months. 12 months? Or 18 months? Was it 12? I don't know. I think it was 12 months. He recorded it all in one summer. Last summer. Yeah, I'm just so proud. I'm just so proud of the depth and just I'm so proud of my friends. I love my friends. That's question 9. How do we love our friends? Friends make life so much more enjoyable. I'm so grateful for Joe. I was talking with Joe this morning, Joe Anhalt. He's been on this podcast before. We should actually record a conversation lately. That'll be interesting. I think the last time he was on was episode 300. I think we're overdue. It's been a little heavier lately. Maybe on my end. His end now, he has a child, and it's interesting. So we're in just like different phase of life now, and it feels very real. And so the conversations just have a little bit different of a feel to them, a bit more maturity to them. But we're always able to share a laugh, have fun, have a sense of humor. All right, last question. What are we energized for in the next week? Always good to have something to look forward to. I'm going to Mexico City. See ya. Warm weather, 80s and sunny. Oh, yeah. Just breathe in that fresh air with all the plants. Be surrounded by plants. I'm so ready. I'm in vacay mode a little bit. Initiate vacay mode. Yeah, this is gonna be good. I always find it valuable to take a step back, breathe, place myself in a different surrounding environment, and just kind of soak it all in, absorb, and enjoy life. Thank you for being here. This has been another Rich Reflections. Again, just like take small steps. They'll accumulate like raindrops in a bucket. And pretty soon, enough raindrops will fill it up, and you'll have a full bucket. What you do with that full bucket is up to you. But go out there and inspire the future with it. Thank you for being here. Go out and be well.